Good morning, welcome to Ag Talking Raw, where I talk raw about agriculture and other things that are on my mind. Someone told me I needed to invest in a razor. I thought that was kind of funny. I have razors, and I think my beard came in pretty good this year. It's been years since I grew one, and the last time I really actually grew one that was of any manly proportion was a long time ago. I did grow one a few years ago, just a small one, just for about a month, and that was it. Anyway, yeah. So enough of that stuff. So I'm sure everybody's getting ready to go to their lenders and borrow money to plant their crops. I've seen it on several different channels, including the Millennial Farmers, and I saw Travis is gearing up from the rest of the story. He was gearing up to go to the lender to borrow to plant their crop, which, I guess that's just the way it is. I never actually went to the lender to borrow money to plant a crop, as silly as that sounds. I don't know why. I just, bought what I needed and paid for it. But as of recent years, I have borrowed money to buy equipment to harvest my crops, and then I just use the cash to pay for the fertilizer and the seed. I have borrowed on fertilizer this last several years because, once you get up there at $200,000 a year mark with fertilizer, it gets quite expensive. And I thought that was a piece of dirt, and it's just the camera angle. It made it look like my nostril. Anyway, that's just me being silly. So, went to the farm show, the Keystone Farm Show, on Wednesday. Me and Joseph did. Had a good time. We got to see all of the equipment that we wanted to see. For the most part, I wish I could have spent a little more time in a couple of areas, but it's there's crowds and crowds of people going through to visit this thing. So I saw everything I wanted to see, and then when I got down to where my stack wagon is, down in the building 1, I went right past it first, because if I'd have went into building 1, I wasn't going to get any farther than that. So I had a good conversation with the Messick clan. I went to, years ago in 2014, when I went to Belgium, to the New Holland tractor plant, the T7 tractor plant. I went with Kevin and his wife, and we had a great time. We did. We really did. And I enjoyed Kevin's company and his wife's company. Me and my daughter were there. And I actually got to see Kevin. He was there, and we had a good conversation, It's like when you meet somebody that you haven't seen in a long time, and it was just like being old friends, And we only spent 9 days together. For the most part, there was only a day or two that we didn't hang out, because I really liked Kevin. And there were, it was fun. I like Kevin and his wife. We went out and ate. They took us out. We just enjoyed each other's company. And if it wasn't that he lives so damn far away, I think I would go visit with him and his wife, and we would, kind of, I don't know, just be friends, and it'd be neat. So, anyways, with that being said, I can move on to the next thing. Everybody that's out there banging the bushes for money, I think it's going to be a tough year. I think it's going to be a really tough year to borrow the money that is going to be needed to put this seed in the ground. I'm going to plant corn this year. I have I want 1 to 400 acres. I'll probably be somewhere around 200 acres. There is some ground that I need to go bang on doors and see if I can snipe it off of the current farmers. They haven't farmed it. They're in worse shape than I am as far as getting hay made. And the fields that they're on are just pretty well junk. The hay has died off. 2 years of not getting your hay made until winter has been really tough on those fields, and they need to be turned out. So they're just going to downsize, and I just want to be there to pick it up. So if I can pick up that couple hundred acres there, and then maybe 1, 2, 300 acres of corn. But I want to be sure of the ground before I actually go ahead and, put a final number on the seed. So Anyhow, with that being said, we'll just move on to the banking part of it. Bankers are a pain in the ass right now. I went early. I was able to procure the money that I needed for the two pieces of equipment that I purchased. About 276, I think, $276,000 in new equipment between the two pieces. And, it's like, wow, that's a shit ton of cash, right? But it's what's necessary to do the job that I'm going to be doing. And it's okay. I'm happy. I'm happy about the purchase, and I got to see it at the Keystone Farm Show. That was part of the deal. They would sell me the machine, and they did actually give me a pretty decent. I mean, they made money. Don't get me wrong. Messick's did make their money, but I felt that I walked away from that deal smelling like a rose. I did hear of a couple of guys that have bought new balers this year. The one guy, he bought four new balers, and of those four, they were all Heston, Massey Ferguson Heston, and they're the cheapest models you can buy. He didn't buy the XD. He just bought the 3x3 baler and single axle, nothing, no bells and whistles, no scale, no anything. Which, I don't know. That's his business. If that's what he wants to do, that's what he's going to do. And he is a custom operator who's getting paid by the foot or by the bale. And so that's just the way that works. When you're getting paid by the foot, we're not getting paid by the ton. We get paid by the foot. So, I mean, the bale has to be a decent density. And that's been a big beef of mine with doing custom work is people don't want to pay for the bale by the foot, or by the ton. They want to pay for it by the foot because for some silly reason that's the way they've always done it. I have a scale on both of my balers because I want to know what I'm producing, what those bales weigh when they come off the back of it. I mean, you can have 360 bales on one farm, and that's 10 loads of hay, or you can have 360 bales on that farm, and or you have 460 bales on that farm, and it's 13, 14 loads of hay, and you're like, wait a minute, when I'm done hauling it, I just spent more time running my truck and more fuel for a lighter bale because I didn't know what I was putting into the bale. So that's why I kind of tailor my bales with the scale. I know what I need them to weigh to get a full load, and you just have to have that full load. I'm getting a little annoyed with the one composter that I deal with. If the load weighs more than what they feel it should, they dock me for moisture. And I'm getting sick and tired of it. Yesterday we took tarped hay right out from under a tarp, not even an ounce of rain on the damn thing, and they docked me over 2,000 pounds. Well, I got on the phone and I called. Well, I didn't call. I text messaged the manager of the place, and he got a hold of the right guy. Well, apparently it was a big to-do this morning. Because my driver's like, oh, so your boss was a little upset that he got docked for hay. And Carl's like, well, yeah. He took it out from under a tarp. He says, everybody here is bringing in half-rotten hay, and you're going to dock the guy that's bringing in literally barn-stored hay? And you're going to dock him? He's not going to bring it in here. And I'm telling you right now, if that check comes and that 1 ton of hay is docked off, a little more than a ton of hay is docked from that check, that's the last load they're getting for a while. And I mean a while. I'll cut their asses right down to 2 loads a week. And then they can call me up and say, why are you not bringing hay in? And then I can say, because I like to make money, not have you guys take money. So, but that's just the way that works. Lenders right now, like I got to get back, I'm getting off of my topic here. Lenders right now are really a little nervous. There's a lot of guys out there that spent a lot of money, including myself, on new equipment, and the pricing isn't there to support it. 2018's crop prices were pathetic. I was over to the farm show and I saw the new equipment, and I know what it costs. Even just hay equipment has had a 10% increase. So on a hay rake that cost $7,500, you add 10% to it. What was that $750 more dollars? Now you're over $8,000 for the same damn thing. Yeah, there was the hay rake that I was looking at was a 3112. Nice rake. I'm probably going to purchase it for this coming year because it is a nicer hay rake. It's H&S 3112. I have a 2112. Those are the older style ones, but the 3112 is a newer style, and it's a fair bit more money. That's going to cost, just because of the tariffs that were put against China and other countries, has raised the cost, of course, to us about 10%. Well, when the cost of the steel that goes into it costs 10% more, or the cost to produce it is 10% more, and I'm not complaining about it. What I'm complaining about is that the end product that we are putting out there isn't 10% more. I don't mind if I'm making money. I don't mind if I'm making money. But if I'm not making money and everything keeps creeping up, the only saving grace that I've really had, or we have really had as a whole in the agriculture community, is the cost of diesel fuel has come down considerably. So instead of it being $4 a gallon for off-road diesel fuel, I bought it for $2.09, and I think I did a win there. I watched the market on TV because it is traded openly on the market, and I hit it at the low. I mean, $42 a barrel, and it was up to $53 here, almost $10 a barrel more. That doesn't mean that end product isn't where where they want it. Where it's going to be. But I ended up with fully treated, winterized diesel fuel for $2.09 a gallon, red fuel. I haven't got my pump system set up there yet, but I'm probably going to work on that today. Joseph is coming. I don't know. Maybe tomorrow. It's probably tomorrow, because today I have some hay that needs to be brought out of the field. It's frozen and things like that. So I rolled the dice and I won. I ended up with I ended up with 2,700 gallons of diesel fuel that I put into the tanks, and I should have had 2,900 or 2,800, but I was just a little bit short on space because it was like, when do I strike? Strike while the iron's hot, obviously, but I don't want to wait an extra couple of days and then have it go up 10 cents like it did. So I made out okay by leaving that. He still gave me the same price. I just wish I had the extra 100 gallons or so that I would have gotten out of the truck if I had more space. And I didn't have any other tractors I could fill up. Everything was full. So yeah, the 50-20 and the 42-30 I probably could have pulled out of the buildings down below. But they're sitting down there and they're covered. I have a whole sea of equipment stacked in front of those, from the little square baler to the trailers and other stupid things like that. So yeah. But anyway, so there's things like that you can do to save you money. Plus, I'm able to deduct that off my taxes for 2018 because I already had, I bought it in December. Now, the issue with that is, am I actually going to be ahead on fuel purchase or behind on fuel purchase for 2018? I think I'm going to be behind because I still have 1,700 plus acres of hay to make, which I'm hoping to be able to get onto in the next day or two. So I'll know today whether I'm going to be able to get it. I have to go retrieve 200 bales of hay out of the field over in Hillsboro, or get them off to the roadside them so that I can get them picked up. And then there's I have to actually, I got to roadside those, and I have to get them home. And once I do that, then I should be able to, get back in the field and get this hay produced. When I was out at the farm show here on Wednesday, the Messick's, Neil Messick, he came up to me and asked me if I was if I was even going to be able to make any hay, what hay would be left out there to make. And I said, about 1,700 acres of it. It's still there. It hasn't gone anywhere, but that's my dad calling. I'll have to call him back. He's probably wondering, what's going on with the whether we're going to be hitting the field today or not. And yes, we are. It's 7:30, so I'm going to have to get moving. But yeah, I think a 15-minute video ought to be enough for today, just because I know that he wants to get his ass out in the field. And, I do have an ailing grandmother, and if he calls me right back, I'm going to have to end this anyway, because that means that something terrible has happened. I've had too much terrible stuff in 2018 happen. 2019 is... we're all standing on thin ice right now with, the health of certain individuals in our family. And I'm sure, I lost my brother-in-law. My grandmother is 90. She'll be 94 on the 20th. So she got 9 more days. I hope she makes it. I mean, right now, her heart is a ticking time bomb. She has a bad valve in it. And, it's just a matter of time. It's a matter of time for all of us, but it's just a short matter of time for my grandmother. And I see her every day. Yeah, well, not every day. I mean, I missed a couple of days last week because of things that I was doing, but you get what I mean. I see her more often than I see my other grandmother, because my other grandmother, they moved her halfway across the fucking planet to a nursing home, which I'm not happy about, but... what can I do? She wouldn't recognize me anyway. My grandmother Grace, my dad's mom, she knows who you are just by your voice, but you got to talk loud because her ears are pretty bad from running tractors and things, and she used to shoot too. So, maybe we're all deaf because of it, but yeah. So that's, he didn't call back, so I guess everything's fine. I've just got to make sure that we're all on the same page as to where we're going with what equipment and how we're going to do this. But today is my day to go over to the. I'm going to check the weather here real quick. So give me a second. Yeah, right now it's 19 degrees outside. It's supposed to stay kind of cold. So 19 degrees, by 12 it's supposed to be 28, so it's going to stay cold and frozen, so that's going to continue to permeate down into the ground and hopefully freeze it up, and then by tomorrow, maybe tomorrow morning, we'll be able to actually go mow some hay. I'm not sure. I'm just hoping that we will be able to. Yeah. So anyway, and that's just the way this is going to be. We're going to have to leapfrog across the frozen tundra when it happens, and I do have to do a little bit of work to the baler. I'm having some trouble with the knife arm cutting this string, so I'm going to pull that baler in there today. This morning, probably ought to get my ass out of here and go do that. Pull that baler in there today. Pull the shit spreader out. Get the baler in. Pull those knives off of the knife arms, and I have a hone. I'm going to hone them because it doesn't take much to make them dull. I don't have any replacement knives, so I'm kind of screwed there. And I'm going to reset the knife arm tension and hone those blades, and hopefully, and put them back on so that I can, it'll cut the string that needs to be cut, and it's got 35 or 40,000 bales through it now. So how many bales is through that? 12, 24, 30, 32. 32,000 bales through that baler, 32 to 35,000. I'll have to look, see what the total number is. I know when I'm done, I should have close to 40,000 bales on that baler. And that's okay. And then it's got to go back to Messick's, or I'm going to have to order the parts from Messick's to have the uptime done. And that's what I'll do. I'm going to have Gerald, either have Gerald do it at their shop, or I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it here at home. It's big bucks to send it in. It's $1,000. It's $2,000 just in trucking, they told me. So it's like, whew, that's crazy. But yeah. So anyway, I haven't read any of the comments here, which I should probably do right now. I'm getting people commenting to me. I did have somebody send me this weird message last night. And I'm not even going to get into it, but it was just weird. I mean, weird. And that's okay. It's fine. I don't mind weird messages, but I guess it was just worth mentioning that people send me weird stuff. So I will no longer be answering weird stuff, because people are fucked up. And that's just the way it is. But I already knew that because you know what? I'm on YouTube, and I deal with a lot of weirdos on YouTube. Some that I don't mind dealing with, and some that I do. But yeah. Brian's farming videos. We still have an 8400, and it's a great old tractor, and feels much more powerful than it's rated. Well, that's the thing with John Deere. If you're coming off of International, New Holland, Ford, or whatnot, and you get into a John Deere rates their engines. They grossly underrate their engines. I was watching Travis, the rest of the story last night, and he was talking about his grandfather's 4440. They sold it, but when they had their sale. But the 4440 was rated at 150 horsepower, which I believe the 4440 was only supposed to be 130 or 135. 135, I think, is what it was supposed to be. But they said it was 150 right from the factory, and we've had the same experience with other things, like, well, my 8530. It's supposed to be a 335 horsepower, and then on the bulge, it's supposed to go to like 360 or whatever. But PTO horsepower on that tractor was 374 horsepower. And I believe this to be true because that Krone baler, even though it's got that great big huge ass flywheel, that 8530 will spin the slip clutches on that flywheel like nothing. Whereas the 8120 would just go, ugh, and you'd kill the tractor. I'm not saying she can't kill the tractor, but you give it a little throttle with that 8530 and she just spins that thing. So you got to be careful. I've also noticed a large drop in revenue on my channel. I'm still new to YouTube, and due to this, to companies not buying ad as frequently due to Christmas being over, that Brian's farming videos, I think I've seen some of your videos. I'm gonna have to look you up again. I think you're the guy that has the Krone Deere baler, the T100 or the 100. I think you're the guy that I'm thinking of. Yes, after Christmas, that's it. Revenue goes and drops right off, and that's the end of that. So you do kind of have to take that into account. Yeah, you have to take that into account. Boy, this coffee's really raging on my stomach. Yeah, until the Super Bowl. Once the stupid bowl shows up, then you're good to go. And it comes right back up then. You got the stupid bowl, Easter. What else is there? Yeah, what's after Easter? Memorial Day, or is that Labor Day? Labor Day? Memorial Day. Labor Day. I don't even know. I always get the two confused. But they do. They buy ads and stuff. And the other problem is, and a lot of people don't realize this, is every day people are creating new channels. And every day new people are creating content. Some are serious, some are not serious. The less serious YouTubers that just throw a video up every couple, 3 months and then finally fade away, And some of them actually have decent channels. It's like they put up a video a week for a couple, 3 months. They get traction. They're on their way to 20,000 subscribers before you know it. And then the trolls hit. And this is what happens to them. And like I was talking to a fellow out at the farm show. He says, you have really got to have some seriously thick skin because I can't even stand to read the comments that are on your channel, let alone mine. He was another YouTuber. And I was like, well, you do. You gotta weigh. You have to weigh out what's worth reading and what's not worth reading. And sometimes not reading them is good, and sometimes it's bad. Chucky 2009 does not read his comments, and he does have some genuine people on there, and the genuine people are the majority, but it just takes a few idiots to really screw with your head. So, and that's what happens. There was a young lady who had a really good channel. I can't remember her name. She's been gone now for several years, but she was running grain carts, she was running combines and choppers, and she did it all. She was easy on the eyes, and she had a very articulate voice, and she did a great job. She was actually gaining traction with some mainstream agricultural media outlets, and then all of a sudden, poof, gone. Like, too many, hey baby, I want to fuck you comments really just ruined it for her. She did post a video that she had a baby, I didn't know that she was married. Whether she is or isn't doesn't really matter in today's day and age. But she had a baby, and she showed that she had a baby, and I read some of the comments, and it was disgusting. It was disgusting because I'm still subscribed to her, just like most everybody else that was subscribed to her. She passed me at one point. She passed me in subscribers at one point. I was like, holy shit! Here's a girl that comes on, female. It makes a big difference because there's a bunch of horny guys out there, I guess, and they just subscribe. Pretty face, got to be good, and had the body to boot, obviously. And she was in a field that is dominated by men, complemented by a woman. I will say that. Nothing makes me happier than to see a beautiful young lady, or even an ugly young lady, in the cab of a tractor doing her job. Teresa, to me, is the most beautiful girl in the world. She gets in my 7530, or now her 7530. We are married, so I guess she has now taken possession of the tractor. It's hers. And she's like, hey, that's my tractor, and she looks great in it, and she loves that tractor. I want to buy another one, or something similar. I'm thinking the next tractors that I do buy, if this straw contract thing goes well, it will be a 6215 or 6220 or whatever their numbers are now. John Deere. I will run John Deere because that's what I'm used to. It would take an awful lot to convert me to, say, New Holland, just because of the New Holland case. They're identical. The only difference is in the cabs. And if you don't believe that, you're smoking crack. They go down the same assembly line. Trust me, I've been there. Every time I see or hear the word Google, I automatically think gobble my balls. I am not the first one to say that. I just kind of stole that from Hoodwinked by an Angel. He's the one that came up with that, so credit goes to him. But my channel is much larger than his, so I guess I get the credit, even though it's not. I don't want to take credit for it. I thought it was funny and it was worth repeating. And gobble my balls can't algorithm that. Unless somewhere someone has seen me and like, okay, gobble my balls is now a bad word. I mean, I did an Instagram video the other night about building the wall. Instantly taken down. I mean, once I hit share, I walked from my pickup truck to my front door. The screen goes white. Your post has been removed. I didn't read what it said. I just was like, fuck you, and off I went, I was kind of pissed off about it, but yeah, I guess you don't really want to talk about shooting people down at the border. It gets things a little upset, but yeah, I mean, that would turn them around in a big old hurry. Most other countries would do it. You come into their country illegally, the first thing you got in your face is an M4 if you're an allied country. If you're a second world country that is, affiliated with Russia, you got an AK-47 or something similar to that. And a whole other genre of different types of weaponry like FNs, FN, FALs, which I think they're done with now, but still a formidable weapon. Yeah. Yep. Does the skid steer or the 8120 do a better job picking up hay on wet ground? The skid steer was purchased for wet hay ground. That's why I bought it. It was because I had bales out in the field and they needed to come off and I needed to get out there and I couldn't go out there with the 7410. The 8120 will tear shit up, but the skid steer does a really good job. 3740. Do that disrespectful crap in Louisiana and you'll find yourself with a big old ticket and probably a night in jail. Oh, I wonder what's at 3740, because if that's the case, you can keep Louisiana. I don't give a shit. Oh, it's probably me hogging the road. It's not disrespectful. You see what happens here in the northern states, or maybe in Louisiana, you guys are so laid back that you're just like, well, I guess I don't care if I get to the field today, or at all. But here in New Jersey, there's a car every 2 seconds. It's up your ass. They're cutting you off. I've had people pull in front of me, slam on their brakes, and I've instructed all of my people, all of my family members, if a car does that to you, do not slow down to accompany or accommodate their stupidity. Run them over. Run them over. They will get the picture. Just run them over. That's why I have insurance. And then when they're stuck there and they tell the cop, he just rear-ended me. And you got a tractor that goes 25 mile an hour versus a car that can go probably 125 mile an hour. There you go. And I'm pretty certain that the police officer is going to be like, Mr. Pandy, or Mr. Pandy, or Mr. Pandy, or Mrs. Pandy, what, how did you hit this person? And it's going to be like, well, my tractor and my implement weighs like 50 million pounds, and this asshole pulled in front of me and slammed on his brakes, and I hit him. So I think he was driving a little erratic or reckless. But I've instructed everybody to hit him. Just run him over. And it's happened to me on multiple occasions. So if you're in Louisiana and you think that I'm a disrespectful asshole, stay in Louisiana, because here in New Jersey, they will chew you up and spit you out. And that's Dad for the second time, so I'm going to have to go. Thanks for watching. See you next time.